Hello everyone. Today's class is conducted for the students of class 10 ICSE, and in today's video I'm going to discuss the main events that take place in Act 3 Scene 1 of The Merchant of Venice. Act 3 Scene 1 begins with Celerino and Celerio reflecting upon the news that yet another of Antonio's ships has been reportedly lost. They hope that the news is only a hearsay, but their source is reported to be an honest woman of her word. Just as they were hoping that this might be the end of bad news for Antonio, Shylock approaches them. The three men discuss about Jessica's departure and also what Antonio's ships being lost meant for his bond. In the process, Celerino and Celerio asks Shylock that what does he want to do with a pound of Antonio's flesh, to which Shylock replies that it doesn't matter what he does with the flesh, rather he just wants revenge. Even though, he adds furthermore that even though he is a Jew, he says that he has the same feelings and the same emotions, same weaknesses and the same desires that any Christian has, concluding that a Christian will seek revenge on a Jew if wronged, and therefore he is also entitled to revenge. But Celerino and Celerio do not have an opportunity to respond because they are summoned to Antonio's for dinner. Shylock talks to his friend and fellow moneylender Tubal, who brings good news from Genoa about Jessica. Well, no one has been able to actually find her, and Tubal shares stories he has heard about her. Shylock laments on the loss of his daughter, the money she took, and the money he's spending fruitlessly in search of her. He cruelly wishes that his daughter was dead at his foot and the jewels in her ear. I'll read out the lines, you can mark them too. I would my daughter were dead at my foot and the jewels in her ear, would she were here set at my foot and the ducats in her coffin. So underline these lines, these are important lines. Tubal then shares the news that the third ship of Antonio has been lost in Tripolis. The conversation then shifts back and forth between Jessica and Antonio. Shylock is upset to hear that Jessica has traded his turquoise ring, a ring that her mother has given Shylock for a monkey. But he is happy to hear more about Antonio's losses and asks Tubal to fetch an officer to arrest Antonio before meeting him at the synagogue. Celerio and Celerino continue to participate in gossip about Antonio's fortunes, although they do not consider them to be gossip. After all, they consider their source trustworthy. Antonio's ship is allegedly lost in an area called the Goodwins, likely a reference to the Goodwin Sands, an area of the English Channel known for its treacherous currents. The conversation with Shylock establishes a connection between Shylock's anger on losing his daughter and his anger at Antonio. Antonio and his friends are Christian, so he associates the two in his mind and connects them to Jessica's disappearance and thus to his other grievances. In a sense, Shylock expects Antonio to suffer for all his kind, just as he believes Antonio has made him suffer just because of his nation. Shylock is able to channel his rage about Jessica into his rage with Antonio. He can't punish his daughter for her disobedience, but he can punish Antonio. And his glee at the prospect makes Shylock appear sinister and undoes much of the goodwill he earns to his speech to Celerio and Celenio, in which he enumerates all the ways in which he is just like them. So these are the main events or the summary of this scene in a nutshell. Coming to the themes that are prevalent in this scene are prejudice and social injustice, where we see Shylock speaks of his bitterness at being treated as an outcast, where he says, "Hath not a Jew eyes?" The next theme that we come across in this scene is revenge, of course, revenge, where Shylock regrets at the loss of his daughter, at the loss of his ducats, and decides to revenge upon Antonio. And finally, the theme, money and love. These are also the theme that is prevalent not only in this particular scene but all through the play. That is the theme, you can take it down, the theme of prejudice and social injustice, revenge, money, love. Music is also another, though it's not doesn't come into play much in this scene, but it is there. So these are the main themes of the play and also of this scene. Now next, if we discuss about the symbols or the motifs, that is the recurring elements and the patterns of imagery used, then we can see in this scene particularly gold, ducats, jewels and caskets. They are prevalent, they keep on recurring. So these represents the desire for power and control. Next, also there is the part of this ring. A ring is the symbol or a motive which symbolizes love and loyalty. We find the mention of ring in this particular scene when Tubal says Shylock that, quote unquote, "One of them showed me a ring that he had of your daughter for a monkey." So the mention of rings, there's the mention of ring all through the play, all through the text. So ring is a very important symbol, a very important motive in The Merchant of Venice. Also, when I talk about golds and ducats and jewels and caskets, I can cite an example, or you can underline the line where, for instance, when Shylock laments that "thou stickest a dagger in me," quote unquote, "thou stickest a dagger in me, I shall never see my gold again, 80 ducats at a sitting." So these are the lines, these are the important lines that bring forth, that expresses, discusses or brings into light the themes and motives used in the play, used in this particular scene. These are important lines, and the quotations, the mention of these lines in your answers will definitely strengthen your answer, will definitely make you score better. And now lastly, coming to the question answers, I wouldn't get into the important questions as such from this scene. I would rather advise you to solve your workbook thoroughly. Then I believe that there is very less chance of missing out on anything. So that's all for today. I hope this is helpful for you. Keep studying, stay connected, stay safe, stay in.